Don't pay a quarter, don't pay a dime, don't pay a penny, don't waste your time. If half a penny is all he asks, don't give him any. Lay off his tracks, my half a penny is what he'll say. Still a steep price, just walk away.
Good morning, Hit Nation, folks, forgets, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, the host of My Happenings. I know I haven't hosted any videos as of late, and this is not going to be anything other than, let's just say whatever, PennyQuickies. I want to kind of put a title to this place. It's been quite a long time, so right now I'm coming back basically to just talk about last 4 games. I'm not sure that I'm going to record any more videos until the end of the season, but that's nothing to do with the Heat. I didn't do it. I actually started not recording during a Heat streak of wins, right? When we won 7 straight, and then we lost 8 straight. I recorded right before that. Started to lose. We won a couple games. I think any kind of game against the Wizards does not count, as many people have already noted that the Wizards basketball and any other tanking team, that's unethical. Just basically not being prepared for absolutely any kind of play, absolutely any kind of game ever, in any kind of situation, any kind of circumstances, is basically what the Wizards represent to the NBA, and that's horrible. And I don't think that any of the new anti-tanking suggestions are going to eliminate that. In that sense, I do think that there should be kind of a fair. Everybody has the same chances, more or less, to get the top picks. That's basically been floated around. But short of that, I don't think there's going to be any kind of real incentive for tanking or for losing at least a certain percentage of games. So it still puts the league in a bad position, because you kind of know that most teams that play against the Wizards, especially now through toward the end of the season, that it's normally going to be a cakewalk. And I don't want to even say anything, because then we go, away, we play the Wizards, and then we lose, because this is also the state of the Heat. Now, the Heat won already 4 games above the projected 37 wins of the year. If I'm not mistaken, it was 37. I don't think it was 38. Let's say 37, 38 wins with that roster that we had. And now we're kind of projecting now, and then I myself projected that we could have gone to 50 wins when we started doing really well in the beginning of the season. Then I stipulated that we could go to 48, 46 wins. That's not happening, right? The maximum that we can go right now is 45 wins if we win all 4 games. And we are currently, I think, let me see. I saw that I had it on the tip of my tongue, but I don't have it right now anymore. So let's take a look at the games, basically, that we have. So I know that we're stuck at 10th, of course. We are, of course, and also behind the Magic, but also 2.5 games behind the Magic now, right? Sorry, 1.5 game behind the Magic right now, which is in 8th. 1.5 game behind the Hornets, which are in 8th. 1.5 game behind the 76ers, which are in 7th. 1.5, actually, in the 2 games below the Raptors at this time in 6th place. They can still catch up to the Hawks if the Hawks lose all of their contests right now, 45-34. But that's not going to happen. So let's take a look, right? We didn't have a bad season, right? We are second in points per game, 120.8. Rebounds per game, we moved up to third, 46.6. Assists per game, we went down to 6, 28.7. And opponents' points per game allowed, it's kind of been hovering at a 118.5 throughout the rest of the season, right? Throughout most of the season, sorry. What kind of really went down, of course, as we all know, is the defense. We're now playing like a bottom 20 defense or something of the sorts, allowing even the Wizards to score a lot of points. I know the context is kind of ridiculous to say that, but that's the actual context of the situation. And we faced the Toronto Raptors away twice, right? Tonight and then on Thursday, which is going to be the first night of a back-to-back, and we play against the Wizards, the last road game of the season away, and then last game against the Hawks at home on Sunday. It could be the last game of Michael Bayamonte's career as an announcer because he retires by the end of the season. So we don't know what's going to happen until then. We in the last 10 games we're 3-7. The Raptors are 5-5. And the question that everybody is kind of discussing right now is: it better for us to win? Is it better for us to lose? I'm always the kind of person that says it's better. I'll tell you a little story about that. Okay, I had a friend when I was young, was studying in a location that had a rabbi, right, as a main um, principal, and I asked him about a potential visit of a friend coming over to that location to visit me for the weekend and to spend the weekend with us. Right, that institution allowed for guests to spend the weekend at times. And so I asked the rabbi, and the guy asked, my friend asked, what is the best time for me to get there? And the rabbi answered, the best time, the time that you get here is the best time. I say the same thing about games. I have this idea because I'm not going to say I'd rather us lose and go into the lottery, blah blah blah, because I guess that's better for the future. Maybe that's even better for in many fronts, not just because we're going to draft higher, but also because we have more for the future of the Miami Heat. Because there's at least right one star whose situation is very soured in with his organization that could again become a target, even though it's been a dream, it's pipe dream, and I'm not sure about it about him even necessarily being in his prime after so many injuries as of late. But we want to get a superstar, and to have a superstar, we have to have assets. And if we don't get a superstar, if we want to build from within, or at least try to, we have to draft higher. So I understand very much the people that want us to lose. And I also understand the people that want us to win. Necessarily, they want us to win, and not that they expect us to win. Those I don't understand. I mean, if you still expect the Heat to win, if you still expect anything out of this team, is very difficult because you know that there is an inconsistency in the standard of play, right? We are all familiar, or a lot of us are familiar with standard of work, right? Standards of work. What do we do when we work? But there is also the standard of play. We know that the Miami Heat has certain things that it's consistent in, and certain things that it's very inconsistent in, and that those inconsistencies they lead to us blowing double-digit leads. They lead to us allowing a lot of points and thus losing by a lot of points, not even having a chance to take off like it was against the Celtics. It's been tough. It's been tough to watch the Heat as of late, but it's also very pleasant when things work out. And we had a great run with Norm. We'll talk about him soon. So, going back to that story about the rabbi, the moral is I don't want anything. I don't want um, the Heat to win. I don't want the Heat to lose. I want to see what's going to happen. I honestly do. I am curious to see what's going to happen. Tonight, Norm and Tyler are available to play, so that should be an interesting thing to watch to see what's going to happen in terms of what Spo does. I do think that Spo has also been inconsistent with the lineup. I can point out to where I can see that Spo wants Ware to only play if is like dignified and etc. etc. But of course, the fans expect him to play more, even though stats don't necessarily support Ware playing more. But I would say, still, there are arguments about that. Spo also doesn't want to burn in too much. Ware was actually going to be included, as we learned today. Even Barry Jackson reported, if I'm not mistaken. It was kind of known that the Heat was going to trade for Giannis, and then basically on April 4th, everything was going well. On April 5th, no, not April. On February 4th, everything was going well. On February 5th, they just basically called to say no. But that was still reality until that point. They were actually going to take a package that revolved around Tyler Hero and Khalil Ware. So I understand also not wanting to burn him, not wanting to, kind of make him, because what Ware lacks, which is a motor. And what does motor mean? Ware lacks the will to play the game. I don't know why people say motor like it's going to be imminently understood across the basketball sphere. The truth is, it's not. It's what is motor? Ware likes a motor, an engine. Yeah, Ware likes the will to play games. Sometimes, and especially when things are not going well for him really early on, you can see him kind of not even going back to try to defend. And we saw how Weir is when the other team allows him to be more involved or when he forces himself to be more involved. He got 7 blocks, he got 19 rebounds, amazing double-double. So yes, of course, Weir is a problem. And Spo has been consistent, but also this roster, I have to agree with most people when say, I don't know why. I only expected the things to be better because I saw the Heat playing better. I was actually following the evidence of my own eyes. And then we got figured out with our fast pace, and that's it, done. That was pretty much toward the first third of the season that we played well. Even that choppy. And then the second third we played again, half and half. And then this last third, we just kind of fumbled the ball completely and, put ourselves out of contention truly because we did win the series against the Pistons, but not only, we lost against the Magic 5 in a row in the actual season, 7 in a row if you count the preseason. It's also a situation in which it's iffy for us playing against most of the teams that are above us, right? So that's a very tricky thing. So I don't want anything. I want whatever happens to happen, basically, right? Whatever happens is the best that happens. I mean, look, if we are graced with Cinderella playoff run, which is not going to happen, who is going to complain? And if anybody complains about it, like they're kind of looking out for the future of the Miami Heat, which I understand, right? As long as we keep, getting into those runs, they're exceptional. They're exceptional because they're based on the truth is this: the difference is that before we did have Jimmy Butler, right? As much as I don't want to talk about him, the truth is we did have Jimmy Butler. We did have other players in other runs that we did. Meaning, it's not like okay, the regular season. Perhaps the X and Y are not so engaged, and then they get more engaged toward the end of the season and toward the post and in the postseason. Yes, that there's also that element, certainly, no doubt about it. But there's mainly also the element. A lot of those players lose, miss time, and then they come back exactly for the playoffs, and then they're ready for the playoffs, they're rested for the playoffs, and still they have to carry the team. We saw that happen with Jimmy Butler in the 2 finals that we made in this last 7 years. But the truth is that this team does not have it. It didn't have it throughout this regular season. Didn't have it in last, postseason because we actually got to the postseason. So of course, there's no hope. Whatever happens, happens. So yes, I don't think that we need to root for the Heat to lose the next 4 games. They're probably not going to lose against the Wizards. I don't think any team should lose against the Wizards unless it's another tanking team trying to play out how bad the Wizards are. But other than that, I don't think any team should lose against the Wizards. We're playing against Toronto Raptors, who are 22nd in points per game, 114.5. They're 24th in rebounds per game, 42.1. They're second in assists per game with 29.5. They're 9th only in opponents points allowed per game. So, of course, their defense has been better than ours, 112.1. And that's pretty much it. Stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible in this very, very complicated world of ours. And let's go Heat.